Feels great, baby. And the kick is up. It is good. The 50.
Continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed.
What are they getting?
They're going to get everything I got. I promise you that.
Looking, throwing in the end
Yeah, oh man, that was a tough one, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the post-game show. I should title this one a therapy session because one time you have those losses and those games like this, when we've had these experiences and these tough L's like this, it really ends up being a therapy session. So we might as well just call it a therapy session. Call them this one: Can the 49ers overcome Jimmy G? This is a post-game show on Frontline Sports Media. My name is B. Amechi. As always, I'm with JB.
What's poppin', B? What's poppin', Faithful? Oh, yeah, that was a tough one. A very frustrating game. One of those games that, this part of the season, December, you want to build. Like you was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You want that momentum, and that momentum, it just feels like it's everything. I know it's only one game and everything is still in front of us, but at the end of the day, you don't want to lose this one, man. And
I love that you said that because that kind of transitions. Let's get right to it, man. It gets to my opening statement with this one, which is basically the Niners lost this game. I don't feel like the Tennessee Titans just beat us. I do feel like this is a game that we lost, and particularly you can put that on Jimmy G. And when you look at the big picture, like you just alluded to, I've been saying this game is a little bit of playing with house money because in terms of playoff seeding doesn't really matter. Whether we're the 7th seed, the 6th seed, is there a team that you'd rather play, between the 4th seed or the 3rd seed? Like at that point, I don't know. I don't really know if it matters too much in terms of, seeding. We're not going to get a home game. We know we're going to be on the road. The point remains that it's going to be a tough road no matter which route we go, right? And so I feel like seeding is not that big of a deal, where you stand. And we're most likely going to make the playoffs. I know JB probably be a little bit more cautious on that, maybe pump the brakes a little bit, but I think it was an 88% chance before this game, and I still feel like it's a pretty high chance for playing the Texans and then the Rams to close out. And even if we don't win those games, we still have tiebreakers over the Eagles, tiebreakers over the Vikings. So I think the chance, the road to the playoffs is there. The thing is, though, this is the type of game where, yeah, the seating and where you're playing, all those sort of things don't matter. But you think back to a lot of people have been talking about the New York Giants and the runs that they made to the Super Bowl as wild card teams. And it's all about getting hot at the right time. And this is one of those games where, yeah, we don't need it. It's not dire. It's Thursday night football. There's plenty of excuses you can make for this game, but at the same time, this is a game where if you are able to win, you show the rest of the league. It's a statement that we are a championship team. We're trying to put our foot on your neck. We're here. We're that team. This is us. We're that team this year. You got to deal with us. I think that's what a win in a situation like this, prime time, everybody watching before Christmas, I think that's what it does. And we couldn't get that done. We couldn't prove that we were that team. We start off 10-0. We had the lead and, we can't maintain it. And we're going to get into it. We're going to break down Jimmy G this show. We can talk about, various aspects of the defense, other aspects of the offense, but we already know. Let's just be honest. It's going to be a Jimmy G show. And we want to hear your thoughts on it, not just us, 49365. My name is B. Amechi. I'm with JB. Not just us, but also you also tap in with us in the comment section. Again, therapy session. JB, what do you want to start off with in terms of talking about Jimmy G? Just kind of, you were mentioning to me on FaceTime, texting before the game that he was looking, and you just noticed some things before the game. You already had a bad vibe. Why don't you tell people about that?
I mean, it's just pregame warmups, and look, I'm not at the game, so I can't really see Jimmy's demeanor throughout the whole entire game, but from, I don't know, like the image that's sticking in my mind was Jimmy G, the Bengals week. And I remember it was him and Trent Williams. They were walking into the locker room walking to the locker room before the game, and Jimmy G has that million dollar smile. He's dapping up Trent Williams and then during warm-ups, I just, on games that I feel like we win, I feel like, Jimmy G's laughing, smiling, doing all that looking like he's having fun. This game, he had that real serious when the cameras were on him. Like I said, I'm not at the game, so when the cameras were on him, he's just real serious, real like just looking like this is a big moment. Like I got to be serious type vibe. And like I said, it could mean nothing. It could mean nothing. But as a fan who's, I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, I'm looking at that, and that just was to me was like, I don't like that. I like the more relaxed, smiling. To everybody else, it might seem like a big game, but to me, Jimmy G, this is nothing. I'm having fun out here with my guys. About to go kick some ass.
Hey, you remember who the king of the I didn't mean to cut off your opening statement like that, but you remember who the king of the big game serious
yeah, bro, like that energy though, that like it wasn't like that intense, but it's that type of like
Cap
hey,
was
this is a big moment.
Cap would be before the game's like
just all serious, like bro, like this is everything, like
hey.
and I just felt like I don't know, we came out first drive cool, and honestly, bro, this podcast, like I was about to tell you, man, like this podcast don't even have to be that long, because like it's just like, bro, like it's like we lost. I feel like Jimmy G, we lost because of Jimmy G, and then a third down, we couldn't get off the field. Like, what the fuck?
To your point about
what was that third, bro? How many third and 10s? Third and 10 was like 3rd and 1.
At the end of the day, they did.
It was like
that's
time
true.
after time
That's
after
true.
time.
That's true, but
like, bro, I never seen it that bad. And I'm not saying I
never.
hate. When have you?
Chip Kelly era, Chip Kelly era, folks just running over. Come on, man! Like never. Let's not.
I never have seen it that bad where I could remember. How about that? Where it's 3rd and 10, and especially when you have a good defense,
they scored 20 points. Okay.
I said the third. Look, bro, I'm talking about third down defense. I'm not talking about number one. I'm talking about why we lost the game. So I'm talking about third down defense. I'm not talking about, they scored 20 points, at the beginning of the game. But it's just how many third and long conversions did they have though? Like
it must have been like 3 in a row, and then there was a few others after that. We can look at the third down numbers. I believe Matt Mayoko had a tweet about that I wanted to bring up. But yeah, I hear you. It was bad, and I think look, I don't put too much on the defense because the D line played pretty well. The D line they were playing great, and I know Tennessee was they had some injuries on the O-line, so you would kind of expect that. But the D-line played well. The safeties played excellent. I wish they would have been able to make some of those plays, get some of those interceptions. But, they played well. And obviously we know the weak link in terms of the corners. But even they didn't play terrible going against the guys that they were going against. Maybe I'm just a glass half full guy today, even after a tough emotional loss like this. But I kind of feel like if you did a blind test and you didn't know who the players were and you just looked at the numbers, really like number 20, number 26, and number 54 seemed to be like players that weren't making plays out there on the defensive side of the ball. In my eyes, like I just feel like Fred Warner, especially on that last play with Ryan Tannehill, being able to scramble a little bit. You want somebody to step up and make a play there. Good play by Tannehill. You got to give some credit. He made a play. That's what you can do when you have a mobile quarterback. He did play wide receiver in college. He has some athleticism, but you want to see a captain, a leader, a Pro Bowl caliber player. We know he didn't make the Pro Bowl, but the Pro Bowl caliber player and Fred Warner make a play right there. But in any case, the defense only gave up 20.
Bro, that's on the D-line.
It is. I feel like in terms of the third down, and we'll get to Jimmy. I'm actually shocked that we're not just going straight into Jimmy, but I feel like with
Jimmy is like that's just
obvious. Yeah, I hear you.
Like
I hear it. I would say right. I would say with the third downs, it seemed like in the second half they were, like you said, converting on all these third downs. Talking about the Tennessee Titans, and I just felt like DeMeco should have brought some pressure. Like we should have just had more blitz. And then the one time that we did blitz, we got to him, we sacked him. I remember, and I was just thinking, thank God, like we finally brought some pressure, finally made something happen. But again, I don't want to be too hard on him because they did score just 20. To me, it was the fact that we didn't have a turnover. This was a game where we really needed a turnover, especially because Jimmy was turning the ball over, at the rate that he was. So, we really needed a turnover on defense, on special teams, like something like that, just an X factor sort of play, and we didn't get it. We had some, really Deebo make some big X factor type plays on offense, but we just couldn't we needed something special, something extra beyond that, and we didn't get it. We came up short, And we're gonna have to talk about Jimmy G. I see a lot of comments out there. I'm gonna get to them. And I did want to show some tweets before we really opened it up. But I got to get to this one because JB, you said something similar. Brad Brown saying, "It broke my favorite chair, and the wife is making me sleep downstairs tonight." Hey, man, it'd be like that. It'd be like that, right? It'd be like that, man. You just, JB, you was tweeting or you was saying earlier, like you kicked your kid's chair or something
Man,
like that.
I had so much energy where I'm like, man, I need to get this out. I need to get this bad vibes out of me, and I'm not gonna punch a wall, but it's more than just I need to release some energy.
It is a post-game show. Let me know what y'all sipping on, what y'all drinking. Put the emojis of the comments of how you feeling right now. I'm sure it's not very good.
LL, bro, I'm not blaming D'Amico. Like, calm that down. I didn't blame D'Amico, all right? I said third down defense was bad.
And you're just pointing facts of what you thought were factors in the game. So, that's the story of the game. Opening statement. It's all good. It's all good. Therapy, they getting it out.
Bro, nah, we just had a bad loss. Don't come on here talking that talk. Because then, we're going to get on here arguing with y'all, man. Come on now.
With Jimmy G, I've said this, previously. I know he was kind of like on a high and a lot of stats, a lot of, before the game, like, hey, Jimmy G's, on a tear. You look at these stats and look how he's played in the last games. I've been pretty consistent with, like, number one, I feel like you always got to disclaim kind of what your stance on Jimmy G is. I didn't want him to be on the team this year. I wanted Trey to play, even with the early struggles in the season. I wanted Trey to play because a topic we can get to later on in the show. But we could have lost this game with Trey Lance. Like, I always look at, like, what games do you feel like Jimmy would have won that Trey couldn't have? And maybe you could say the Bengals game. Maybe you could say the first Rams game. Maybe you could say the Minnesota game. Possibly. You can possibly say those three games. But on the flip side of that, there's other games where it's like, I feel like Trey could have given us the same chance to win. Or if not, like, just do what Jimmy did. I mean, in a game like this, your 8-year, 9-year veteran is making these rookie mistakes. Why not just have your rookie make rookie mistakes? So that energy is always going to be there. I definitely don't want to bring it up for a legitimate conversation because I think Shanahan's been pretty stubborn and straightforward in this point. I don't think there's any chance, Trey's coming in unless there's an injury. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't want to talk about it legitimately happen. We can talk about if you think it should happen, but I don't think Shanahan's going to do that. And I've told y'all before, I live in LA, so I'm a little bit behind on, the ways that I watch the Niner games. I'm about 30 seconds or so behind. And I remember after Jimmy threw that second pick, I was talking to JB. I was on FaceTime, and, he was just messing with me. He was like, yo, Trey's getting in the game right now. Trey's going in the game. He's going in the game right now. Trey's going in the game. And I was like, bro, I know you lying. Stop lying. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. But, it was a little.
You was juice. You was juice.
I was juice deep down inside, but I knew you were lying. So Faithful, I know y'all got some tweets. I know y'all got some texts with people during the game. What was the craziest text, tweet, etc., that you saw pop up during the game? I actually wanted to, go to the next part of the conversation by looking at some of these posts that we have from here on Twitter, in the Twitter space, I should say. Let's see what we got. I don't know if you can see my screen. So Brad actually was posting out that he was looking at some of the the post game press conferences and what they were saying and what Shanahan was saying, and basically Shanahan was he wasn't really throwing Jimmy under the bus per se. I feel like earlier in the season there may have been times he always comes up with a by no means was it perfect, but I feel like he kind of went out of his way in a few things that he said to kind of not place the blame squarely on Jimmy and just kind of single him out and throw him under the bus, which I feel like a lot of faithful out there were kind of upset about. But I respect that because I feel like that's the right thing to do. You don't want to throw guys under the bus. Like, that's not something you think back to the Harbaugh era. He wouldn't do that with his players and stuff like that. I just don't feel like that's like what a good leader does. It may be true. There may be ways to break it down, but I just saw some faithful
he don't need to criticize him in front of us. Like,
right.
That's not saying he's not going to criticize him behind closed doors or coach him up or whatever. But what y'all want him to be like? Yeah, Jimmy sucked today, guys. All to validate us. It ain't how that works, man.
Exactly.
Hey, Jimmy G's press conference too. I just caught
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, Jimmy G is going Jimmy G it to tell Jimmy G, go down because he still has that and I kind of respect it. He after a terrible game, everything, he's still kind of like it seems like he don't beat himself up.
Yeah,
And
I think because he's him. You know, like I feel like he's been pretty consistent. People always
he
say
is him.
he's inconsistent. He's consistent in who he is, though. Like I don't know if it's whether it's like a read's just not there, or like it seems like in a game like this, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like he predetermines where he's going with the ball a lot of the time. Like it's not like
I mean, yeah, no, but I just feel like but he was. I just feel like he was playing rattled though. Like I just feel like he's just playing a little rattled. Like then once you start throwing the picks, then you start holding on, and then you might take extra sacks because you don't want to force it in there. So, I just feel like he was playing rattled. He was playing rattled, and we got that one drive at the end that maybe he calmed down a little bit, but I
yeah, let
don't
me.
know, bro.
I want to get to a few of these other tweets. Also to the super chat. Shout out to y'all. We appreciate it. We had a message from Toby Ernst that said, "Don't let Jimmy G break your furniture. Don't let him do it to you, faithful. Don't let that happen." This is a therapy session.
Oh
That's
man.
some good therapeutic advice right now. Let's all find positive ways that we can outlet that energy, man. Let's do some push-ups when he does something wrong. Let's put that energy into, I don't know, going outside for a quick run. It's kind of raining out right
Push-ups,
side right now here
runs,
in
man.
LA, but
We do that in the morning.
that's true. That's true. I don't know. We got to find something though that's a more positive outlet of where to put our
Nah, man,
energy.
just throw something, throw your hat, kick some things that won't break or won't cause any damage, structural damage. Just find something that you could really, release.
Absolutely. Brad Brown with another message on the super chat. We appreciate you. He said Frank Gore used to cry after just regular season losses. These dudes don't care that much. Well, Frank Gore is crying after a few other things. I don't know if he was crying after that match. I'm just playing. I'm just joking. I shouldn't have took that jab at Frank. I shouldn't. Let's not talk about jabs and Frank. I shouldn't have took that second jab at Frank. I know that was bad. That's my. I got his jersey framed up here. Come on, I'm going to the Hall of Fame to speech whenever he's going to Canton. I'll be there. I'll be there.
He was taking more than jabs.
He was, yeah. Yeah. I wanted to get to this tweet, man. 49ers Hub, shout out to them. They said, Kyle, after the game, I think Jimmy G played well enough to win. David Lombardi said Kyle Shanahan, Garoppolo's errant throws, 2 turnovers cost you, but that's not all on him. That's on everybody out there. And that's I think maybe with the Kittle play, and Jimmy G alluded this to his press conference. He's like, I'm gonna go to George Kittle every time. It's a matchup that I'm thinking George Kittle's gonna win that. And he basically was putting it like Kittle didn't win the matchup. I threw it. I'm gonna give him a chance every time. Like that's Kittle.
I mean, I get the sentiment. I mean, it was one. That one was more different than his usual like picks where it's like a coverage.
Right, exactly. No, that's the point I was making. It was like, and it's bad because it's the red zone. It's bad because it's the red zone.
And that's what it is. It's like, bro, like y'all gotta.
You gotta be smart.
The case is, whatever the case is, you throw a pick. So
absolutely,
like in the red zone. So
absolutely, but I'm saying
like, you probably should have went there. I mean, Kittle versus Janoris Jenkins, but at the end of the day, you didn't execute. Okay, so that's a pick. That was terrible. There's no, like, I don't want to say, in this game, there's no excuses for that because, this game was close. That cost us a loss. The juice check cost us a loss. The pick.
That's what I was going to mention. The pick at the end, or the pick at the beginning of the second half, that was a pick where, oh man, like, that's pretty much a Jimmy. He threw it too high. It's a bad throw. It's easy to say that. Like that one was just a bad throw. I had it there. I saw him. He was open. The ball got away from me. Bam. Like it's not an excuse, but it's just like explain what it is. But I just it's tough when you say like all these interceptions are on the whole team. It is. You can always say that, but that's the part where it's that gray area. But I'm not mad at Shanahan for saying that. But it's just that is a gray area kind of comment and sentiment because. Who's that supposed to be on? Deebo for that second interception? Like, and then the one that could have been an interception but wasn't. That's a whole another topic right there.
Right, and then a fumble, and then he fumbled.
This is what you were talking about, JB. You said all you need to know. This is from Matt Mayoko. Shout out to the OG. I just got his book recently, actually, from a Secret Santa event sort of thing. Somebody got that coworker from work got me his book. So shout out to Matt Mayoko. All you need to know about this one: third downs. Titans 9 of 16. To your point, JB, they're at 56%. Not the the best ever, but that's pretty damn good. And the 49ers were 3 of 8, 38%. Turnovers, Titans 0, 49ers 2. So that's what I alluded to earlier as well. where this is
Bro,
a game where
it
it
was
really
more than
felt like
just
we needed a turnover on defense. We really needed to turn the Titans over, especially with how Jimmy was playing and giving the ball up. And there was a fumble he had too that we got back, and he did fumble that ball. It was like, it wasn't just like, you're in the pocket and you get sacked and the ball comes out. Like, no, he saw it, he braced for it, and he still fumbled it because the guy just ripped his hands away and he just couldn't be strong enough to secure that ball, which is really unfortunate. And George Kittle, shout out to George Kittle, he got that, but Jimmy fumbled that ball. So really, he had 3 turnovers, and he had 2 turnovers and 2 other turnover-worthy plays, right? We got the one, he actually had a turnover that we got back with Kittle, and then there was the dropped interception. So it's tough.
yeah, four. It was just real. Like, I don't know what it was, man. Like, thinking about this game, and like I said, just for me coming, like the energy that I was getting, on, like, it just felt like he was, like, I don't know, is the Titans, I think they like, is it the national? It's a national game, national exposure. Is it the Tennessee Titans, or do they kind of have this like bully? Like, do they have this intimidating? I don't know, whatever it was. It just felt like he came out, got rattled. Like, you just named 4 times. Like, yeah, we know Jimmy could give shit up at times, but 4 times where it was like, bro. And then the wide open miss. The wide open miss,
But
where
okay,
dude is wide open for a touchdown.
we've seen, and this is what I say about the Trey Lance thing. Like, couldn't we lose this game with Trey Lance? Trey Lance, if you remember that Seahawks game, you hit Deebo. It was a similar play. I think it was pretty much a very
Wide open.
yeah,
It was like, but that was more so a bust in coverage, but yeah.
right. But in any case, I think it was a similar play. And Trey Lance very much underthrew Deebo, but he got the ball there. And it's like, at the time, you're like, man, like, do you want to give him credit for making? Yeah, you want to give him credit because at least he hit him, and it's like, you look at that use check play and it's like, man. And I actually, one of the tweets on here, I think it was from Brian Peacock. I was listening to the post game show that Croc did on the podcast he has with Peacock right after the game, and Locked In on 49ers, and Peacock was saying that he felt, basically his point was that the use check play, the wide open use check miss, is not that high on the issues of things that you want to get mad at Jimmy about, because if it was any other wide receiver, they probably would have made that catch. Jimmy threw it in the spot where they could have got up, gone up and got it, but it was a fullback, it was use check. I really disagree with that point, because number one, you have to know who you're throwing to. That's on you. You know who's there.
It is
and
Kyle Juszczyk.
And Juszczyk is a baller. He's not like
capable,
he's not.
Yeah, bro. It's not like he's running.
Why are you having him? Why are you throwing it to the outside? It's like, that was a play, and Croc made this point. It was already open. It wasn't like he was breaking open and you were trying to, like, okay, if the defender's going to go with him, I'm going to throw it to his outside and try to have him. Like, no, he was already open when you were throwing the ball. He was wide open. And so it's one of those plays where, like, again, bringing back to Trey Lance, at least get it there. Don't have it like going out of bounds when it couldn't. Jimmy G, it seems like those passes to the sideline sometimes, we saw it with Juszczyk in the Seattle game. We saw it with Kittle in the Seattle game. We've seen it before. My whole thing with Jimmy is like, I'm never too high, never too low, and never too emotional, because it's insanity expecting something different. I know sometimes he's better than others. This was a bad game for him. I'll give you that. But he puts himself in positions where he can make turnover-worthy plays all the time. He misses these guys all the time. It's not like this is like so outlandish and so out of character for him.
This Juszczyk one was pretty. It was pretty Nick Mullins-ish.
He's done it.
Nick Mullins did it. Nick Mullins did that.
Nick Mullins was that was one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my life. So Jimmy didn't do that. Like, it was somewhere in the vicinity, but Jimmy's done that.
It was a wide open receiver, wide open for a touchdown that he blatantly missed. That was what Nick Mullins did.
Yeah, and you guys can see it on the screen with the again, this is a tweet from Peacock. He was talking about it, but man, it's there. It is there.
Wide open, bro. If that's not 6, we at the 1.
If that's not 6, we at the 1. A few more tweets I wanted to get to. Of course, I knew there was going to be some good stuff from David Lombardi tonight, defending Jimmy G, and this is a funny one.
Hey, hold on, Jimmy. Hey, he tweeted some stuff where he got at Jimmy, like, not got at him, basically said he cost us the game. So, I feel like, why everybody on Lombardi like that, man? Let it run.
It's just fun. One of the things when you talk about a therapy
Lombardi
session,
is like Grant. Everybody used to hate Grant. Now everybody love Grant, but everybody used to hate Grant. Like, everybody used to hate Grant. Like, everybody. Oh no, it
Well,
was like that was like the cool thing to do.
people
Like
still hate him. So I would say with a therapy session, right? In therapy, one of the great things that you can do is find a scapegoat. You want to find that common scapegoat. And people unfairly have
Jimmy
sometimes done that.
G is the scapegoat.
You can put it on Jimmy G. A lot of people put it on David Lombardi. They be going at his neck. But basically, what he said was Shanahan must be happy with the advantage his D line has today. Didn't feel the need to push for points at the end of the half. And Grant just said, that's what it was. Not the fact that Shanahan doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. Just interesting. I thought that was a funny tea. I had to pin that one. That was pretty interesting to me, pretty funny to me. I don't know, like when you look at Jimmy G, look at these plays. We kind of talked about them. These are like the key trigger point plays. And this doesn't include, if you remember, that overthrow to Jennings that we had there. And I thought Jennings was gonna have a big game. He had a drop. He had, he did what he did what he could in his opportunities, but nothing special coming back to Tennessee where he used to play his college ball. And he's pretty much a legend out there. But yeah, Jimmy G overthrew him on 1-2 that could have been an interception situation. But hey, I feel like Shanahan was drawing it up. I feel like there was plays there to be had. We can talk about the use check, all these sort of things. So at the end of the day, like I was saying in my opening statement, it really felt like I don't know how you felt about this, JB, but it really felt like we were the better team. It really felt like this was a game that we let go of. That you don't think that? You don't think that?
I mean, well, I mean, they beat us. They beat us, and I know we kind of, but like, I mean, why our defense couldn't get off the field on third down? Like, why Tannehill was just dropping back and able to hit AJ Brown all the time on third down? Or it just felt like, I mean,
we were doing that with Deebo. I mean, Deebo. I mean, he had less catches, but he had runs. Deebo had almost 200 yards total, and he was killing. It was kind of like give it to AJ Brown and give it to Deebo.
But how I felt today was like, yeah, in the beginning of the game, our defense was shutting down Tannehill and them. But how I felt was like, I wasn't really, I wasn't like, I was hoping for a pick or a turnover on defense from us. But, like Tannehill didn't look like he was going to turn the ball over. We already counted four from just Jimmy. Four turnover, like four balls that could have been going Tennessee.
I ain't gonna lie, like there was a lot of talk before the game about Jimmy G versus Tannehill. Who would you rather have? And they're really like, on the same, they're pretty high paid players, high paid quarterbacks, and they've fringe Pro Bowl level if they're at their peak, but then at their worst, they could not be so good if they don't have the weapons around them and those sort of things. So they're easy to compare in that sense, right? And there was a lot of different opinions before the game. And when I was watching the game, and I just felt like Tannehill with the offensive line that he had and the issues that they had, like you imagine Jimmy G with that offensive line, right? Tannehill with just getting Julio back. We didn't think he was going to play. Just getting AJ back. We didn't think he was going to play. And, in the first half, it just seemed like not a lot was there, and they had 0 points, okay? But it didn't feel like he was forcing it because the game didn't call for them to do that much because the game was still within reach, and they were getting the ball back in the second half to start things off. Second half starts, and he's just like, chugging along. And I was impressed at the end of the game by Tannehill because I feel like he just took what the defense gave him and he made the crucial plays that he had to make. When they were offsides, right? The defense we gave him that. They had that offside penalty. He was able to throw it down to AJ Brown, make that 50-50 ball, which is really more like 80-20 when you're going against Embry Thomas, just being honest in that situation, right? I believe that was on Embry. So he makes that play. When the play kind of breaks down in the fourth quarter, they need to play. He's able to get that run to set them up for that game-winning field goal. So I feel like when it called for him to make plays, he was able to do that, and he didn't. There was never a situation. I mean, obviously that the situation where AJ Brown threw the ball and Jimmy Ward could have picked it off. That wasn't on Tannehill, right? So he didn't really have any turnover-worthy type plays, and I just felt like he had a solid game. And a game like this, that's all you need. And I feel like on the other side, Jimmy G really gave this one up. He really gave this one up. Like their opportunities were there.
He gave it to him.
He gave it up. It wasn't like this wasn't a game that he needed to win. We were solid on all other areas. He just needs to not lose this game.
But he needed to, man. He needed to play with that swagger that he was playing with.
He just needs to not turn the ball over. That's it. He's
no.
I'm saying,
but you need to. But he, Jimmy. It's like Jimmy, man. Like when
you don't feel like he played with the same swag.
Jimmy makes plays. He threads the ball in there, And that's the kind of like, oh well, he threaded it in there, but it's like, is that bad that he threaded it in there? Because Debo scores a touchdown when he, threads the ball in there, and defenders are like running
But
right
that's what he
past it.
does. That's what he did last week. I don't.
Right.
You feel like his
So it's
swag
like,
was different? I feel like his swag was the same. He was smiling after the picks. That's what he did. Like he's the same
bro.
guy.
He was
He's the same guy.
Of course, he's the same guy. He's the same player, of course. But I'm talking about the game today. It wasn't.
He had a bad game. He's not
He
an
had a
elite
bad
quarterback.
game.
He's not.
He
And
had
he's
a
not.
bad
And,
game.
and he's not an elite quarterback. And I acknowledge that he had a bad game. But I kind of feel like he's gonna have these games, especially when it's prime time against a good team. Like, yeah, he's gonna have good games like the Rams. He played well. In this game, he didn't. He's not a Pro Bowl quarterback. So if we're expecting him to be that, it's like, let's adjust our expectations. I don't think he had to play as bad as he did. Like I just said, but Tannehill on the other side, Tannehill didn't have a great game, but he didn't lose it. Jimmy G just had to not lose it, and he did. So it's unfortunate. John Middlecoff tweeted, Niners 2021 special teams might be the worst unit in the history of the league. That's a harsh statement, bro. It's hard to even describe the embarrassment it's been.
I mean, he been on the. I mean, I feel it. Special teams been weak and stuff, but yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna say that they haven't. That they have been playing good, but I think that's very. I feel like that's taking it way too far.
Last tweet I had.
The special teams didn't cost us anything today, really.
Look at that.
I don't think so.
Last tweet we had from PFF. Is it time for Trey Lance? Like I said in the beginning, they're not going to do that. If that's what you guys are thinking.
This game, like, I know it's like some fan type shit, but I was like, man, put Trey in. Let's go. Let's put Trey in. Like, let's try to win this game.
But that's different from what you think is actually going to happen, right? I mean, there's no way that was going to happen. There's no way.
No, because the way it was looking like I'm saying the multiple. Look, bro, this is the only thing. When you start doing it multiple times, then I feel like Shanahan is all about wanting to win the game. If you're really doing stuff like that, where it's like, man, this is, like I said, if you're multiple, not just one turnover, not just two, but it looks like 3, 4, where that type of thing, I could see him pulling him.
The only way that he would pull him is if Jimmy G got sacked in a situation where he can say at the end of the game, like he did with the Dolphins, I only pulled him because of injury. It was just because of his high ankle. It was just because of the ankle. It was not anything else. I only pulled him because of injury. If there's not a possible injury, Jimmy did take that hit. He did take that scramble and that hit. But if it's not a possible injury, you're not going to pull him. Let's get out of this shared screen. I thought those were some, interesting tweets there. But, that's just some things I saw post game. Real quick, got to acknowledge the super chats. John Anderson showing us some love. Appreciate you, family. He also said Jimmy G lost us this game. Yes, man, he did lose us this game. It is what it is. We're going to get some of these other comments here. JB, I did want to acknowledge Deebo. I felt like Deebo I just don't understand him this year. I just don't understand him. It's like he's playing out the backfield, all these situations, whether it's the Eagles game, the Chicago Bears game, this game, where it's like this, end of the half, end of the game sort of drive situation where we need it, where it's on the line and it's very much needed. The game's in balance and we need to play. And he's able to just break 70, break 60, that's what he does. That's just what he does at this point. And it was so disheartening to see him give everything, just empty the tank. I was telling my lady watching the game, I was like, I just felt like he was I was like, man, it looked like he's just on cocaine, like Mike Irvin, Dallas Cowboys back in the day. I'm like, it looked like he was on something after them plays. It wasn't just, you remember the first half where he would make a play and he would just get super juiced after. He was just like, I was like, Deebo, calm down. We need you in the game. Like you're gonna get taken out, substitute. He missed like 3 or 4 plays. Like
Deebo looked like, you ever like do like a I don't know, like a workout or a practice back when or whatever, and you just be feeling like you have to run suicides, and you feel like you about to like just die. Yeah, that's how Deebo was looking. That's how he was looking like in the fourth quarter. Like I was like, damn, bro, like are you good? Right. Like he looked like he just went through like a summer hell workout. Right. But I mean, he Deebo hell explosive. Really, that's really what it is. He explosive, and when he get the ball, he's getting upfield.
He's getting upfield. He's doing it big. We had some We had some solid play by Jimmy Ward and Jaquaski Tart as well. I want to just acknowledge them, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy to just bash on everything after this game. But really, at the end of the day, the story comes down to Jimmy. I mean, let's get to some of these comments. There's so many in here. There's so many in here. Let's get to some of these comments. You always down on Trey. Ain't even got a chance yet. Jimmy been losing his games, and it's everyone's fault except Jimmy. I mean, I think that's in a game like this, that's easy to say. I think the thing with quarterback in the NFL, it's the toughest position, right? We know that. So it's like a guy can have a bad game, whether you point to Ayuk's games that he had that were subpar in the beginning of the season, whether you point to, some of our secondary issues that they had, throughout the season. Guys have bad games here and there, but it's usually just hidden, or the overall, it's such a team sport that it doesn't really affect the total win-loss column every single time. But when you're at that quarterback spot, when you have a game like this, you have a bad game like other players who are not elite do. I mean, you can't hide. You have the ball every single time on offense, and that's what it ends up being. It ends up being a situation where it costs you the game. And we had some positive takes. I like to get the positive takes too. This is a therapy session to all the faithful out there. Let's glass half full it real quick. We learn from our mistakes. It's only going to make us better. We know what we're capable of. Wait when it really matters. I think in a game like this, like I said, we win this game. We show the rest of the league we are the team that you need to fear coming into these playoffs. We're going to get on a streak. At the end of the day, this game is not going to really, I think, drastically affect our seeding, affect kind of how things are going into the playoffs. It's just a momentum thing, right? And I look at our team and I say, when we're playing these better teams, do we really think that we can win? Like I said at the title of the show, can we overcome Jimmy G? Can we overcome Jimmy G in games like this? And that's what it comes down to, I think, at the end. And it remains to be seen. I think it's all about matchups. I would say to all the faithful out there who are like, this is why we can't go far this year. This is why we can't make a run. This is why, et cetera. You can make a case for all these teams in the NFC, that you can point out the flaws of all these teams in the NFC. You can talk about injuries. You can talk about, areas that they're weak in their team. Like, there's plenty of issues with a lot of these teams in the NFC, whether that be the Rams, whether that be the Cardinals, whether that be the Cowboys. You can go down the list. Tampa Bay even has their injury issues. I mean, we know how Green Bay looks like the elite team, but we've seen them in the playoffs in previous years, and we know that they've, been able to falter in the past. So anything can happen when you get to the dance, but I wouldn't expect us to go to the Super Bowl. Like I was saying in our last episode, JB, like, I hope for one win in the playoffs. I want us to win the Super Bowl. Quest for 6 all day. You know what it is. Y'all know what it is, faithful. That's what the ultimate goal is Super Bowl or bust, in the words of JB. But in all, being real about it, I'm expecting and hoping for one win in the playoffs. Anything above that,
I mean, the cold part about it is, though, I feel like you said, with the landscape of the league, you talking about all these other teams. You just said like basically none of these teams seem like wow, like, oh, these guys are just unbeatable. Like, these guys are perfect. These guys, and so you take that and couple it with the fact of how when George Kittle is doing what he's doing, when Deebo is doing what he's doing,
only targeted 3 times in this game for 2 receptions and 21 yards.
Right, and then you got the D when they are swarming to the ball, and Nick Bosa and everything. You like, hold on, like, why? Like, this is, why can't we get that far? And then, yeah, this is why we can't get that far, because we can't keep it at that level of we can't keep it at that level, because we'll have a game like this, and you can't have a game like this in the playoffs, because then it's over, it's done. And I don't know, man. To me, like I said, I just feel like the Super Bowl. Yeah, I feel you. Like, we're probably not gonna win it. Okay, but I don't know. It's still. I guess if we lose against the Texans or something, then I might be chilling. But we beat the Texans. If we beat the Rams, then it's like, all right, and I'm gonna be hot if we come out like this.
We're an inconsistent team. We're a mediocre team. We're in that area where I think we're a good team, but we're a mediocre good team. So, we need a lot to fall for us. We can't overcome these 2 turnover games and playing like we were. So, that's just what that is. For those of y'all who don't know, we have a Twitter account at 49x365. Make sure you follow us, tap in with us. Sometimes I'm tweeting a lot more of the time, more frequently JB's tweeting, but sometimes I'm in those Twitter spaces. It's kind of like Clubhouse when they had Clubhouse really going, and I was really enjoying that. And I'll be in the Twitter spaces every now and then, talking this Niner talk, and it gets very emotional in those things, man. Especially this week, it's been a lot of just, JB had mentioned that we should set up some sort of charity fight event, boxing event, something like that.
What's happening?
It's just everybody's just this whole Jimmy G stuff. They be talking about, race gets involved somehow, some way, and then people be in their feelings about this, and then they be like really going at people, and it's just, we have trolls, as they call them, which is a big issue, not only in the 49ers Twitterverse, but it's a lot of these immature people these days. They use this social media and they do things that they wouldn't do in person, which is why we are proposing that we need to have some sort of boxing event go on between these Twitter personalities.
Very toxic, basically.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of y'all cry too much. That's what Black Suburban's saying. Shout out to the Black Suburban. But there was a comment from Raymond Martinez, and I wanted to bring that up because Raymond Martinez is somebody who's hopping in those Twitter spaces every now and then. I see him, and he always has a level-headed, just providing his objective 2 cents. I like hearing them objective opinions, like, okay. I don't like when people talk over people and do all that, but sometimes it's needed. I get it. It's a therapy session. We all have different outlets. Raymond's saying, I think Kyle can't be overly critical, I should say, because it's his decision to ride with Jimmy. And that's very true. It's like Kyle Shanahan's perspective is like, I always said when Peyton Manning, I always bring up this story. When Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, right? People were asking him, you could have went to the Titans, you could have went to the Niners, you could have went to all these other teams. How do you know the Broncos was the right team to go to? And I'll never forget, Peyton Manning was like, well, I'm going to make it the right decision by how I treat things, how I act about this, how I move forward with this decision that I made. I'm going to make this the right decision. And that always stood out to me as such a dope response. And similarly, Shanahan in this situation, he's decided to go with Jimmy G to sit Trey Lance for his first year after trading up all this draft capital to get him. And to him, in Shanahan's mind, he has to make this the right decision. How is this the right decision? Number one, the team actually goes to the playoffs. I think winning a game would be ideal, but actually goes to the playoffs, and it looks like that's going to be a checkbox. And number two, Trey Lance develops and ends up being, good to the point where you can't question it, where you're saying, oh, he actually played. He's playing well now in his second year. He looks like that 1 year off really helped him out, a la Patrick Mahomes. So we're not going to know about that. It's a wild card, but I do feel like Shanahan needs to do that to prove himself right. We're hearing Kyle does not trust Jimmy. He was scared to go for it right before the half. I mean, that's on brand though. That's on brand. I don't. It's clearly a Jimmy thing, but it's also just a conservative, this is how our team's going to play thing. Like Shanahan with clock management, again, similar to how I feel about Jimmy. I'm not surprised by that.
Speaking on that, like if you ever watch a Rams game,
yeah,
they always like press, like I'm like, damn, we for sure would have kneeled it at half, like right before the half. But like before the half, if it's like 20 seconds left, they on the 30 on their side. They still trying to get it. And it's considered two different. I'm not gonna say one is better though. You feel me? But it's just what do you feel? How do you all that type of good stuff.
I like this comment, man, from Camelot's Red and Gold. It said, it's because Jimmy G don't give a fuck. Dude came out and said, it is what it is. What leaders say that shit? Dude knows he sucks, but he's rich and good looking. Why should he care about anything? I
disagree with that.
I disagree with that too, man. Come on now. It's funny though. I like that comment.
Yeah, I feel like he is who he is in terms of his play, and but afterwards, like I feel like Jimmy G is gonna handle this loss as best as possible as he can. I don't think he makes it harder on himself. I think he's just who he is, play wise or whatever wise. But I feel like him, like I don't. People don't like when they be seeing him smiling and stuff after picks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
people hate that. But I feel like he is what he is, and that's what he's gonna like. That's how he. Like, why would you want him to do something different?
I don't think, like, what do you want him to do? Like, start
be hella mad on his cap shit? On his cap shit? Yeah.
Or even just, like, we want him to start kicking shit and, like, I mean, like, okay, some people handle adversity that way. And,
JB,
like,
let me get your thoughts on this. Because I will say the one thing in terms of frustration, he even said post-game, He talked about that Kittle play that we already talked about, but he also talked about that Ayuk play. What they talked about, I think Greg Olson was saying really on the broadcast that, it's like a zone coverage, and Ayuk is thinking, I'm going to settle into the zone, whereas Jimmy's thinking, you're going to continue with the route, and I'm going to lead you there on that fourth down play is what I'm talking about. And by the way, I think it was Jason DePonte, shout out to him, posted a tweet showing Shanahan, like looking at Shanahan on that play. If you really look at Shanahan, he was hot on that play. Is it about Jimmy? Is it about Ayuk? I don't know. But that's a play where, and again, I'm not at the game, so maybe he did talk to Ayuk on the sideline. But that's a play where you would think that those guys need to get on the same page. It's hard to know who's to blame, but the team's to blame. And I think that's kind of what Shanahan's alluded to on that play too. The team is to blame. And like you would want to see us kind of look to make sure that we correct that. And again, I don't know, that may have happened. They may have got together on the sideline and all that, but that's the type of play where I'm like, man.
And when we think about it, man, we be getting so frustrated and upset, but the margin and error of winning and losing is like this.
That's small.
Think about in terms of even being prepared beforehand. Like a lot of times these dudes make plays on stuff they never it's like
a tip ball and somebody's there, and then you get right
or whatever it is, and it's like you're all the preparing. Like I'm not like
fumble on kickoff.
Yeah, sometimes all that preparing and just I'm talking about even with like the offense, like and just we never seen it versus this look, and he kind of just went this way, and I kind of found him. Like it's just this small. It's like we made a play though.
But a part of that is coaching and being ready as a player as well, because you have to be ready you got to be able to respond like fast. I talk about that a lot with this team, where sometimes it feels like we're not able to overcome things that just don't go your way, and today is a bad example because the turnovers they're deflating because they're just bad turnovers. They're in the red zone. They're to start the second half, like the timing of it and where they're at in the field, just bad turnovers. But in other situations where like things just don't go your way, like, a kickoff or, just various plays that just don't go right. I just feel like sometimes, we've seen this season us not be able to, I don't know if it's a leadership thing or just really just making plays. Like you said, sometimes it's luck. It really it's such a thin line, but it just doesn't seem like we can always respond, react, overcome, all that good stuff. So, it gets tough. We appreciate all the super chats. Shout out to y'all. JB, you going to say something?
No, this one had me weak, though.
Go ahead. Brad Brown. Shout out to Brad Brown. He's been active up here. He said he stares down one dude every play. He don't make nothing hard on himself. He is the best, lazy, successful version of Jamarcus Russell?
That's a new comp. Hey,
and a lazy version of Jamarcus Russell. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. The best lazy successful version. He put successful in there,
but like a lazy version of Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah,
I guess the point he's making with that is it seems like Jimmy G's not really in the film room like that. I think maybe that's part of the point because Jamarcus Russell.
I feel it, man. It kind of. Like, why would Shanahan play somebody who's not studying film? Like, I don't like. Maybe he's not.
Because again, it's not just about Jimmy. I was saying in the beginning of the season, like I thought that when you make the investment in Trey that you did, it almost is like every decision you make is so that he's successful. It's not even about Jimmy's playing because he's going to give you the best chance to win. But you think Trey, the best opportunity for him is to sit the whole year. So you're going to play Jimmy. I would think that Shanahan's more on the I'm trying to win games and not really thinking about Trey. But I think a part of it has to be about like also like I'm not going to put in Trey. I'm not going to put him in mid-season. We are like the drama that it's going to bring in the locker room, going to the press conferences, having to answer. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You guys think I am? Maybe I was thinking about it in the beginning, but we're in this thing now. Like this is out of sight, out of mind, unless there's an injury. So that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, man.
What else I got to say, Faithful?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Like, bro, who is making excuses for Jimmy? All right. Who is making excuses for Jimmy? What do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to do, man? Like, yeah, we put this game on Jimmy. We said that Jimmy was the reason for this loss. What do y'all want to do? Y'all want to? What do y'all want to do?
JB, I don't know. A lot of times when we go live, it's 70 people in this thing right now. A lot of times when we go live, it's a lot of people in the chat talking back and forth. I'm not sure if 100% that person B Smacking was talking specifically to us. It's a lot of activities in the chat going on right now. So, you might have been going back and forth with Red. I don't know. I
ain't really been seeing nobody standing up for Jimmy in here, so I'm gonna take it personally.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, so it seems like one team from the Bay Area was able to beat a Tennessee team, but it was not the Niners, unfortunately, tonight. JB, did you have any other closing out thoughts? Faithful, I'm seeing a few more super chats. I'm gonna get to y'all. Make sure you tap in with us. This is the 49365 post game show on Frontline Sports Media. Shout out to Croc. Shout out to Jasper and Jamal. Shout out to the whole team. JB, do you have any other closing thoughts on this game? Just kind of what you're thinking about it.
Closing thoughts. It's a very disappointing game. Very disappointing. That's really my closing thoughts. So I turned off, NFL Network. I'm not gonna watch NFL Network. I'm not gonna watch ESPN. We're gonna turn on some random stuff like throughout my house. Like wake up in the morning, like just turn on NFL Network, let it loop throughout the whole day. But no, after games like this, no, we kind of ban all that football content, take and I'm not because it was a pretty, like I said, we had some good momentum, and this game killed off the good momentum, and now it's kind of like, oh, okay, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see what happens, but we're gonna have to take a break from the football content, so that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I will give a caveat. This is a therapy session, so let me just say this to all the faithful out there that are really up in arms. In a game like this, right? It is Thursday night football. We're going on the East Coast. There's a lot of excuses you can make. I think what gave us so much hope was the offensive line issues with Tennessee and what we thought were going to be their wide receiver issues. The fact that they've been losing the games that they've been losing because of their depleted team right now and all the injuries that they have. We didn't know if AJ Brown was coming in as a decoy, really. Julio Jones, he didn't really make that big of an impact in this game. They played a lot. They were targeted, especially AJ Brown. He came alive in the second half, was their whole offense. And really, like, you can say, like, we almost lost the game when the report came out that AJ Brown was going to play. I mean, it almost seemed like that was a part of it. I mean, obviously we can talk about Jimmy and what he's done, but that is a huge part of it, of us thinking that, we had a great opportunity here and we let it slip away. And yes, you can make all those excuses, but I think my big takeaway from this game, and I've said it before, it's just that Jimmy G and the 49ers didn't have to win this game. We just had to not lose it. And I feel like when you're going into playoffs, you hear those cliches a lot, like just don't give up the game, don't lose it. What does that usually mean? It usually means talking about third down defense, like JB was talking about. It means the interceptions, the turnover worthy plays, keeping that to minimum. In a game like this, if you just do those things, we're going to be able to come through with points. We're going to be able to hit the plays that you should be able to hit. Jimmy G doesn't have to diamond in there with two guys covering Deebo and, make this great play to win the game. All you need to do is hit Juszczyk, who's wide open. You don't need to hit Kittle when he's going over the middle and, he's got to moss somebody and do a stiff arm over here. All you got to do is not throw an interception in the red zone. All you got to do is not throw an interception coming out the half. And it's easy for us to say. I know playing quarterback is hard, and Jimmy G kind of is Jimmy G. That's been my whole stance, that sometimes players are going to make those plays on us sometimes. Other times, they're just not. And so if we're going off results, it's like, this is a bad game because guys picked it off and guys did this. But like other games where he was playing relatively the same way, and gets away with a little bit, then it's like we're not really talking about it as much, right? So I just feel like Jimmy is Jimmy, and he's going to Jimmy. And if you're expecting something different, if you're expecting consistency, that's what elite quarterbacks do, right? If you're expecting him to take us above and us to win because of him, that's what elite quarterbacks do consistently. We've done it here and there with Jimmy. You want to give him his credit for that. But consistently, that's where elite players come in. That's where Hall of Fame players come in. That's where Pro Bowl players come in. Jimmy is neither of those things, which is why we traded what we traded to move on from him, which is why this might be the last time that I wear this jersey. Just being real. That's why I wore it tonight. This might be the last time. There's not that many games that he's going to have. How many games is Jimmy G? That's a question. How many more games is Jimmy G going to start for the 49ers? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4?
I don't know. Somebody said, we about to go on a 6-game winning streak.
Jimmy G is as consistent as a cocaine addict.
I mean, you was talking about that consistency. So I was like, yeah, let me pull this one up.
Bruh, what?
I don't know, man. You know, I don't. Is that or do cokeheads? Do they have
Bruh,
consistent erections or they don't? You know,
bro. I need an explanation, Tommy. Please explain that, man. Like
Hey,
y'all be
hey, and one last thing too, like randomly, and I don't want to get on a tangent about this because like I said, I'm trying to cut. But Ambry did. I feel like Ambry played better today. I feel like he played. He played. He had like he didn't give up a touchdown, and he had a few balls that where he played. I mean, AJ Brown he's a beast out there. And Ambry Thomas was I think he had like 2 deflections on him. Like how many catches did AJ Brown have on him?
I don't know. I think that two. I can think of off the top of my head. Two.
Yeah, man. So he had the one, when they were on 3rd and 15. Like I'm really not, I'm not mad at that one. And to me, that was the only one I really remember him giving up. So, I feel like Ambry, I don't know, just the way he was looking out there when he was just lining up out there, compared that to like the Bengals game where it just looked like he wasn't comfortable. He didn't look like he didn't look like he belonged, just even before the play was snapped,
Right.
just him, but today he looked a little more comfortable, and I'm like, okay,
I mean, that's
maybe,
that's what
uh,
happens when rookies play more, like, and it's tough because it's towards the end of the season. So you're thinking playoff push. You're thinking like, oh, we got to win this. There's the margin for error is smaller coming to this close of the season, but you got to be real. Like this is his third start, so
yeah, yeah.
you gotta be real with that. But JB, I'm gonna let you dip out of here. I did want to go live with some of the faithful after this episode, so I'm gonna get you out, and then I'm gonna put up a link. If y'all want to tap in, y'all can hop in and come in and leave your comments and go from there. But this is the 49365 post game show on Frontline Sports Media. Shout out to Croc, shout out to Jasper and Jamal. This is, I guess we're not gonna go on Sunday because this is the post game show right now, but appreciate y'all vibing with us. A little bit of a therapy session, a little bit of comments back and forth, banter back and forth, all that good stuff. But my name is Bia Menchie, and as always, I'm with JB.
Hey, man, faithful, y'all stay up. I'm out. Be a Mechie. I'm gonna holler at you, bro.
Holla at me. All right. Faithful. We still in this thing. If y'all want to tap in, if y'all want to, get on and get your thoughts, let them be known, then let's do that. I'll put the link in the comment section so we can go from there. First up, we have Troy. How you feeling, Troy? How you feeling after this game, man? What's your thoughts? Troy just tapped out, which is fine. First time we doing this, we want to get these kinks out and see how this is going to go. But like I said, I gave my kind of last statement on this game, talking about how I feel like I just don't feel like we got beat. I feel like we really gave the game away and lost it, which is really frustrating. And even despite all that, we still had a chance to win it at the end. And, if the defense can make a play there, you don't want to put this on the defense because of all that our offense did, specifically Jimmy. You don't want to put this on them, but man, and how dope would it have been to have a Music City Miracles type of situation with Deebo and Kittle. And I think Mina Kimes had tweeted that we have the perfect team to do an end of the game sort of lateral situation because of all the Yak brothers that we have on our team, all the Yak guys that we have. So, that was an interesting comment to me. But let's get somebody else into this stream. We got Jordan up here. Let me tap in with you. How you doing, Jordan? What's your thoughts on the game?
Oh, what's up, man? Super frustrating. Like, if anything else happened and anyone else was our quarterback, we probably would have won that game, man.
Man, yeah, you really think about Jimmy G and where would you rank him, Jordan, in terms of like, the NFL and the quarterback sphere? Like what tier, how would you put him in?
I mean, to be honest, like any week he could be like from the number 12 quarterback to like number 25 like tonight, so like that's the definition of a mediocre quarterback.
Exactly. They're all in. I'll ask you this question before I get you off. How would you? So you're looking at Ryan Tannehill in a game like this. Like I was saying earlier, I was actually pretty impressed by Tannehill, and he didn't really do anything in the first half, but he was taking what the defense was giving him the whole game. That's kind of what I felt like he was doing the entirety of the game. Jimmy G or Ryan Tannehill, who would you rather have on your team?
I mean, shoot, man, pick the week. You know what I mean? It's like they're pretty much the same quarterback. You know what I mean? It's like if any given game they don't throw an interception or fumble it, they'll probably win. But if they do that stuff, they'll probably lose. So Jimmy threw 2 picks tonight. He almost threw a third. He missed a wide open touchdown pass like that. That's almost like 4 turnovers. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, pick the week, pick the game. Like they're the same quarterback, but tonight we got bad Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not Russell Wilson, he's been even struggling a lot this year. If you're not Aaron Rodgers, I should say, all these quarterbacks, even the elite ones, throw interceptions, make bad plays, all those sort of things. But Jimmy G, we've seen the plays, we've seen the consistently being consistent, all those sort of things. So he is who he is. Appreciate the comments, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to hit
on? No, man, I appreciate it. Just the only thing else is like the difference between Jimmy and Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson is those guys, they can throw a pick and then make up for it. You know what I mean? Like they can throw a 80-yard touchdown pass or
exactly
convert a crucial third down, but not Jimmy.
Yeah, and even like I was saying right before Deebo made that huge play in our last drive, I was saying that it's so difficult that because of Jimmy, it seems like we have to matriculate the ball downfield every single time. We're trying to make a big drive to end the game. I actually thought that was a subtle plot point in the game was the time management on our last drive, because even when Deebo made that huge play and got out of breath at the end, I was thinking, man, we got to score like now to leave some time on the clock for us to get the ball back and possibly do something with it there. But the way it turned out, we did have the 2-minute warning, but our defense couldn't make the crucial stops that we needed. And so the game wasn't able to get to overtime, and we weren't able to get the ball back at all. They were able to close it out pretty much. I mean, we got the ball back at the end with basically like, 10 seconds or whatever it was to go. So not really a legitimate chance to come back there and make an attempt to, close out the game the right way. If you talking about cocaine, you doing cocaine. What the F? Facts. I can't speak on that, man. I was saying during the game though, it felt like Deebo was it felt like he was coked up or something, man. The way he was just like he was playing like his head was on fire. I mean, he always plays that way, but I feel like the emotions of it, maybe it's just Thursday night football, finally announced as a Pro Bowler. He just really wanted to do everything possible to win this game for us, and that was shown through the screen. But man, there's just a few plays in the first half and even in the second half where he was getting out of breath, getting the wind knocked out of him. I feel like one thing I've seen consistently with Deebo is his shoe coming off. I feel like we saw that last week as well. So man, you gotta tighten up the shoes, man. But the way he plays, the way he's going at it, the way he's aggressive, and the way he's just knocking people over and getting an extra 2-3 yards every time, I guess that's bound to happen. There's that screen pass, I think it was the end of the first half, I want to say, where Deebo got 7 yards, where we got the field goal out of that play, where it should have been a 2-yard loss. Like those sort of things. You look at 7 yards on the stat sheet, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, nah, man, that's phenomenal. Deebo has been playing excellent. We talking about this. Oh my God, that pass was a dimer. Any high school quarterback could have made that throw. I'm not sure if we were talking about the use check one on that, but yeah, if nobody else wants to tap in, I'm going to end this therapy session. I know there's a lot of comments. It's a lot to get to. We appreciate everybody who was in the super chat, showing us love, showing us appreciation. It's a lot of 49ers post-game shows. I know before I came on this with JB, I was, tapped in to the Locked On 49ers podcast with Croc and Peacock. Definitely tapped into that. Make sure you tap into that podcast. I know Grant's going to go on later. I'm probably going to see that. I'm not going to go on NFL Network, ESPN, all those other major media platforms. And why would you do it? Because we have so many great 49ers content creators. You got to support us. You got to support yourselves. Get in these comment sections. Let yourself be heard. A lot of our fans, I feel like, are very knowledgeable about the team. And, I love hearing different perspectives on the team, especially in a situation like this. I'm typically positive energy and good vibes, glass half full type of guy. But a game like this, it's tough. But it's Thursday night football, going across country. The beginning of the season, you would think this is a scheduled loss. We end up losing it anyways, even though we had a good chance to win, especially with how things shaked up and the injuries and all those sort of things. It was right there for us. We couldn't get it done. That's just the facts. Them just the facts. And like I would say, I feel like Trey could have done that. I feel like Trey could have lost us this game. I don't know why Jimmy's playing when Trey could have done that same thing. But it is what it is. Appreciate everybody who tapped in the comment section during this episode, this post-game show. I'm going to end it like that. Once again, this is 49365. My name is B. Amechi. I'm with JB. Faithful, y'all already know what it is, man. Stand up, baby. Let's get it. Peace.